Tom Cruise, previously renowned for his action scenes, is now steadily declining. In silence. Despite decades of death-defying acts, he is slowly declining. Tom's injuries from the cliff leap in Mission Impossible have left him exhausted, breathless, and fighting his own body with each step. The hardest part isn't physical agony. It is the void surrounding the formerly acclaimed man. 3 times, he considered love: Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes. Each of his 3 ladies and life chapters ended in tears. All marriages began with promises and ended silently. The remaining shards of Tom's heart were taken away, leaving him alone in an empty house with only the wind and cold walls. Due to Scientology, the organization Tom thought was a getaway turned out to be an invisible jail where faith became chains. They controlled his every move, including marriage, kid-rearing, and lifestyle. His daughter Suri became aloof, her previously clear eyes now unfamiliar. Each night, Tom sat in his house, gazing at the lights of Los Angeles through the window and contemplating, "What have I lost?" The smile that once charmed millions is now rigid and tired, as if the world has dimmed his eyes. At 63, he continues to run, climb, and hang from cliffs while others rest that wanting to escape the loneliness behind him. Finish the video to discover the secret suffering beneath Hollywood's most powerful man's fame. Before we begin, add a remark to acknowledge your daily faith in standing up and moving forward. Much like Tom Cruise, who lost everything but chose not to collapse. Before becoming a popular action actor, Tom Cruise was a tiny, meek, and shy boy. Born July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York, from a family plagued by debt, conflict, and unfulfilled ambitions. Every night, his father's crazy cries shook the rundown house on the edge. A large man with red eyes with booze used an old leather belt to whip the boys back. Tom crouched in the kitchen corner, shaking and silently crying as he fought back panicky gasps of fear. "You're useless," his father exclaimed. The words echoed in the boy's thoughts, influencing him throughout his life. Tom's mother, Mary Lee, was frail and worked 3 jobs a day, holding her 4 children close in a worn-out Louisville apartment. Hearing his father's car arrive made him feel sick and bitter. Without money for bread, she hid small notes around the Christmas tree. "You are my best gift." Tom, 12, delivered newspapers barefoot in freezing streets at 4 a.m., his hands purple from cold, to earn money for his sister's milk. When his shoes were ruined, he filled them with old newspapers to stay warm. His heart felt colder than the Kentucky winter, and loneliness permeated his bones. Like stormbound birds, the family migrated 15 times. His frequent school changes prevented him from making friends. Each hallway started over. Every familiar face vanished upon relocating. New schools meant new challenges. Bullying and labels like Small Tom, Stupid Tom, Tom Crook, and dyslexia, which he only learned later, made him an outcast among children. A student was nailed to a chair in class, bleeding from his leg. He remained still, holding his breath, fearing more thrashing at home. Tom Cruise's actual fight wasn't at school. It was his thoughts. Each text page was an impossible wall. Each sentence was a horror. Teacher believed he was lazy. The kids teased his slow, stammering speech. Years later, he confessed painfully, "I felt dumb. I felt like I disappointed my mother." He never forgot his shame. A hidden scar shaped his character, causing restlessness and guardedness. In 1974, his parents split. Tom witnessed his mother grieving in the kitchen, holding the divorce papers with shaky hands. Her heartbeat broke as he hugged her. The 4 of them were left in a cold apartment by his father. Tom was made man of the house at age 12. Despite being little and slender, he dreamed of a complete family, unaware of his own 3 heartbreaks. From then on, he vowed to leave his village and start again. Tom relied on faith at 14. He joined a Catholic seminary in Cincinnati with the goal of becoming a priest, living a tranquil life with meaning, and finding a place to rest his heart. For 1 year, he thought this may be his haven. Once, he and a companion stole sacred wine, drank excessively, and laughed in the chapel, leading to their expulsion the following day. In the snowy field, he stood with tattered clothing and icy tears. "Not even God wants me." The sorrow of rejection, abandonment, and isolation can linger like ice on a boy's spirit. Few can suffer misfortune as relentlessly as Tom Cruise. After a childhood of violence and loneliness, he faced harsher and more brutal torture, drowning his heart and causing despair. Fear, loneliness, and unhealed scars filled every breath. The 18-year-old left home in 1980, taking a Greyhound bus to New York with only $500 and an old luggage. Almost nothing remained but a fragile dream and a strong desire to prove himself. By day, he did anything to survive, mopping floors, serving tables, delivering packages, anything to pay rent. He ran across the city at night for auditions, ultimately losing count of rejections. Each rejection taught him, not broke him. Each setback nurtures a quiet resilience within him. We were rewarded for our persistence. Tom's first role in 1981, a minor supporting role with few words, inspired him to put his all into every look and gesture. He got a bigger role in Taps a year later. This time, Hollywood took note. Despite his stubbornness, the young man exuded radiant vitality, drawing attention. The 1983 film Risky Business made Tom Cruise a cultural icon with a brief appearance in white briefs. After being mocked in school, he became a Hollywood icon, but not without facing loneliness and adversity. He still struggled with dyslexia, making each script a torture chamber. Pages and lines became walls he had to persistently break. He developed his own language, using color-coded notes, audio recordings, and lengthy nights to absorb each line. Humiliation became method. A weakness became a strength. From The Color of Money to Rain Man, Tom proved his worth alongside titans like Paul Newman and Dustin Hoffman, without overshadowing them. The birth on July 4th nearly ruined him. As Ron Kovic, he sat in a wheelchair for months, shouting and wailing, revealing his fragility to the audience. Over the next decade, he played every character. Good Men Fight Jack Nicholson, Mission Impossible, and Jerry Maguire. He acted and produced, putting his heart into every stunt, jump, and line that he didn't pretend. He inhabited every character, transitioning from a strong agent to a fragile guy seeking love and purpose. With Magnolia, Tom became into Frank T.J. Mackey, preaching false confidence while deteriorating inward. The rawness and intensity shocked audiences that he won from vulnerability. Multiple Oscar nominations demonstrate Tom Cruise's resilience despite tragedy, pain, loneliness, and perseverance. That a star magnificent in his flaws, powerful but vulnerable. While Hollywood revered him, a new chapter began quietly. A fragile and deadly private moment. A weird church entered his life. That moment marked the start of fresh, devastating catastrophes. During the mid-1980s, Tom Cruise began a relationship with Mimi Rogers, despite the risks and strain of his thriving profession. Mimi, a few years older, was beautifully graceful and had overcome many challenges. Tom saw her as both a lover and a guiding light. Hollywood is a dangerous place, where every grin might conceal deception and flashes can remind him of unresolved traumas. From the start, their love was tested. Fame choked Tom daily, and childhood scars continued to linger in his heart like chilly winds in summer. Mimi led him to the Church of Scientology, believing it would help him conquer dyslexia, establish inner harmony, and transcend childhood powerlessness. Tom joined Scientology curiously and hopeful. He said, "If this truly helps me understand myself, I won't give it up," with a fiery voice. Tom was inspired by seminars, lectures, and hefty books, which helped him stay grounded in a world of scrutiny and pressure. The light gave way to blackness. He became engulfed in a tempting maelstrom of control through Scientology. Tom became dedicated, enrolling in advanced classes and donating thousands of dollars for peace of mind. Previously a dedicated auditor, Mimi sensed the developing distance. David Miscavige, the church's head, viewed Tom with greed, as if he spotted an undiscovered gold mine. Cold murmurs entered her ears. "Unworthy she is. We need a new wife for him." Tom evolved daily. He spoke less, touched her less, and looked farther away, as if ignoring her. "Maintain purity," he whispered one night, his voice heavy like a sentence. Mimi cried on the pillow, feeling the gap between their once bonded hearts increasing. Tom filed for divorce December 9, 1989. Mimi received the news from her lawyer on set. Her hands trembled as she gripped the documents. Her heart tightened, and tears fell onto the chilly studio floor under the artificial lights. I brought him into this world, but now he's leaving me. She expressed her sadness in a whisper. The divorce was formalized on February 4th, 1990. Mimi received $4 million, but her heart was irreparably wounded. She abruptly abandoned Scientology, removing herself from the public eye. Tom Cruise, a guy with ambition and loneliness, had made decisions that determined his fate. Tom got to know Nicole Kidman on the days of Thundershoot. She was more than simply a co-star, inspiring him to pursue a tranquil ambition. Nicole illuminated not only the screen but also the room, calming Tom's emotions and bringing him actual warmth for the first time. She was more than just a lover. She was a beacon amid the turbulent Hollywood waters. In 1990, they married in a lavish ceremony with 40 guests, including Scientology leader David Miscavige, who sent monthly presents. Tom promised himself that this home would not fall apart. That seems to be true. 2 children, Isabella and Connor, arrived miraculously, causing laughter in the house. These memories include family portraits, scripts on the kitchen table, and late-night conversations about small matters. The child who had attended 15 schools now felt like he belonged and could breathe comfortably. Happiness was short-lived. The first crack, soft as air, crept into the house like a shadow. The influence of Scientology grew, becoming an invisible storm surrounding Tom. He took advanced courses, gave millions, and immersed himself in a world of rules and control. Nicole, a psychologist's daughter, sensed distance. Miscavige viewed Tom as an undiscovered gold mine. Threatening whispers, "Not worthy. She will take him away from us." In a nighttime filming session, Stanley Kubrick inquired about marriage secrets. Nicole cried in the changing room, sensing the growing divide. "Do you still love me, Tom?" she pleaded, trembling. Tom remained silent, staring at a remote spot Nicole could not reach. Pain became harsh in the months that followed. Nicole had an ectopic pregnancy and miscarriage. With tears in her eyes, she asked, "Why would God take our baby away?" Tom stood beside her, but his gaze was chilly, like an invisible barrier between their souls. Scientology detectives monitored every call. Nicole's words were closely monitored. The home, once a symbol of forever, now communicated loss. They suffered 2 ways. He impulsive, she mute. She wants intimacy, he drifts. The unthinkable happened in 2001. Hollywood's golden marriage ended. Nicole received the news in Canada while filming, standing still on set, nervously holding the paper, tears dropping over the chilly floor. "This is not my decision," she begged over the phone, her voice choking. However, Tom filed for divorce on February 7th, citing irreconcilable differences. The divorce was finalized on August 8th, 2001. Nicole earned $100 million but lost her 2 children. Connor and Isabella joined Scientology with their father, cutting off their mother. She softly cried as she watched. "I still love you both, even if you no longer call me Mom." Her smile was a facade when she accepted the 2003 Oscar for Hours. Her heart still bled. "I lost my family for this," she muttered, shivering at the impact of her life's broken pieces. Tom said a short but powerful sentence in a rare interview years later, "The hardest time of my life." While Hollywood stars may be arrogant, a guy in front of a mirror realizes that even the brightest dreams cannot conceal personal misery, loneliness, and unhealed wounds. After Nicole's story ended, Tom Cruise felt lost in his own life, moving through shattered promises and a home without laughter. Katie Holmes emerged as a bright beacon of hope, reviving the desire of a family. Was that light strong enough to save a broken heart? Maybe it was still in April 2005. During the War of the World press tour in Europe, Tom Cruise became acquainted with Katie Holmes, a 26-year-old woman with beautiful brown eyes and a modest smile. His poster was on my bedroom wall. Tom, 42, with his heart still recovering from Nicole, felt struck by lightning. Following weeks, he hopped on Oprah's couch, exclaiming, "I'm in love," and dancing with her. Katie reddened, but her eyes shone like a child getting a long-awaited gift. The media dubbed them Tomcat, Hollywood's golden pair, and some believed in the fairy tale. They held a grandiose wedding at an Italian castle in 2006, complete with lights and customs. Everything word-woven eternally. Suri arrived months earlier. In the early images, Tom transformed from an action star to a father holding his daughter with a sympathetic gaze, a new look for him. Katie deemed motherhood the greatest blessing, while Tom viewed fatherhood as redemption. After failing to save a home, he tried to make amends. His lifelong search for peace seems to have been fulfilled. Darkness returned as the fairy story unfolded before the crowd. Katie, who had posted Tom's image on her bedroom wall, now lived in a brilliant world, unable to see herself. The lights, press, and walls of Scientology slowly encircle her. Her friends reported a shrinking circle until she recognized that celebrity can be a destructive force. Tom, who sought order and discipline in life, found structure in Scientology. Although he saw steadiness, Katie sensed the walls closing in. Scientology emerged like a shadow. In their home, Sea Org members cooked, cleaned, and monitored everything. Catherine felt suffocated. She studied auditing but faced resistance from her Catholic upbringing. "I don't want Suri to grow up in this world," she whispered to her mother over the phone, trembling. Tom audited for hours and donated millions. Growing distant, Katie regarded him. The man who once jumped on a couch for her is now a church shadow. Katie planned in 2011 that she surreptitiously hired lawyers, utilized burner phones, and transferred Suri to NYC. She worried about her daughter dragged into Sea Org, signing a billion-year contract at age 5, that she cried while holding Suri every night, that "I won't lose you." Tom was clueless. Filming Mission Impossible in Europe, he believed the family was safe. Just before Tom's 50th birthday in 2012, everything crashed. Katie, silent and resolute, secretly carried out her escape plan. She utilized temporary phones, contacted lawyers, and concealed her actions out of mother instinct, not fear. Her sole purpose is to safeguard her daughter. In 11 days, the once fantastic marriage ended abruptly. The world was shocked. Liberation for Katie. A disaster for Tom. Hoarse-voiced, he confessed. It was unexpected. Tom received the news from his lawyer in Iceland. Standing still on set, he gripped the paper with shaky hands and tears dropping to the floor. He choked when he told his manager that Kate filed. The divorce was finalized 11 days later. Hollywood record. Katie got primary Suri custody. Tom paid $400,000 annually, but could only visit 10 days per month. The plaintiff sued magazines for alleged abandonment of his daughter. In his heart, he knew he lost her. The man who previously defied gravity by jumping from skyscrapers and clinging to airplane wings is now weakened by his heart. He was hurt by the distance between him and his daughter, not the divorce papers. Katie owned custody. Tom supported Suri for $400,000 a year until she turned 18. He appeared to be a responsible father. He gradually faded into obscurity, a distant sound. Katie survived nightmare. After enrolling Suri in a Catholic school, she changed her last name to Noel and settled in New York. She cried as she watched Suri grow up. "You provide me the most joy." Tom last saw Suri in 2012, nearly 4,000 days ago. He contacted and brought gifts, but the girl stopped calling him dad. Scientology remained the barrier. They never met again. Ignoring Tom's name, Katie stated, "We remain Suri's parents." Tom remained mute, but became emotional when seeing Suri's photos in the press and grieved alone in his room. He once leaped on a couch for love and pledged to protect her forever. Scientology stole everything: his spouse, daughter, and soulmate. In 2024, Suri's decision to adopt her mother's surname ended the legal dispute. The final quarter was silent but awful. Tom once thought his friendship was unbreakable. Today, Tom Cruise struggles with loneliness in an empty home. The only sound was his breath and the furious thumping of his heart. The alarming reality is that his body is showing signs of aging. At 63, every step and breath reminds us that time takes everyone, including Hollywood legends. In 2017, while filming Mission Impossible Fallout on London rooftops, Tom jumped an inch short, causing a terrifying crash on the wall. Despite a broken ankle and blistering leg pain, he staggered for a few steps to finish the take. All the world saw courage then. He alone knew that the shattering sound was bone-breaking, a pain no one else could feel. That it's real. "That's me breaking," he remarked, shaking his voice while viewing the tape. He kept trying new antics. After doctors advised rest, Tom grinned, nodded, and returned to work weeks early. Despite appearing calm, every step was a silent cry and shaking flash of pain. He continued, "I must keep moving," with a quiet but forceful voice. As if stopping was scarier than breaking, he was continually pushing his boundaries, with shoulder tears, rib breaks, burns, and bruises forming a combat map on his body. In 2023, a stunt nearly killed him. He had broken ribs and felt shards of glass in his lungs with each breath. All crew members horrified, just saying, "Pain will pass. The film lives forever." He learned to hold his breath underwater for 6 minutes in Rogue Nation. He seems peaceful on the deep water footage. Off-screen, divers watched the time, fearing for his life. Upon surfacing, his face was pallid and his body shook. Everyone understood that no special effects could match this boldness. "You recognize your fragility," he said. A painful confession and warning. Climbing the Burj Khalifa building was even more challenging. Dubai was below him, thousands of feet of empty air. Those safety lines would catch him if he fell. His bleeding hands clawed steel and glass. The man stared down in disbelief. "If I let go, done." Every upward pull wasn't a trick. He picked the punishment. A means to show himself he could control terror. Tom never slowed. Constant scars, cold packs, and numbing pain reminded him that collapsing was never an end, not because he couldn't collapse. When Top Gun Maverick restored him to the top, audiences witnessed his smile and courage, but few understood the years of physical sacrifice that led to its success. Tom, 63, lives a paradox. He maintained a strong body by strict discipline and rigorous training, treating time as an enemy. His joints have started to communicate. Sometimes his broken ankle throbs. Not totally healed, his ribs hurt with each breath. "You don't forget those falls," he continued. "Your body always remembers," with a low voice and distant glance. "But the deepest wound is not bone. His blood contains it. Love is gone, but loss lingers." There were peaceful moments with Ana de Armas, including dinners, glances, and confident red carpet steps. Cruise's face is a mournful symphony shaped by time and tiny interventions. Enhanced cheekbones, sharper jawline, and faraway eyes. Concern that age will shorten every moment. Erased wrinkles and honed features are not just cosmetic, but a protective armor against his fear of self-loss. Life of Tom Cruise. The transformation of a troubled guy from a violent upbringing to a successful Hollywood celebrity amidst pressure, conflict, and romantic tragedy is intriguing. Can fame ever completely compensate for human suffering? Can a damaged heart find peace among fame, infamy, and tough choices? We appreciate your company in exploring Tom Cruise's lesser-known life. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe and enable alerts to stay updated on other celebs' tragedies and life experiences. Every follow and share supports our mission to deliver heartfelt stories about the people behind the spotlight.